Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to another round of the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. Today we're at Interlagos, and we're getting ready to go wide open for the feature event. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we get ready to get them gridded up here. And let's take a look where they're going to be at. Josh Green qualifies on pole. Russell Soto second. Daniel Beauchamp in his debut at the series will be starting third. Brandon Dewan starting fourth. Raymond Aguilar fifth on the grid. Danilo Sparapani starting sixth. Nick Peterson starting seventh. Brad Triton starting eighth. Peter Rettinger starting ninth. Jared Ziegler starting 10th. Hunter Graves starting 11th. And Antonio Bianchi starting 12th. You've got John Kasai starting 13th. Ryan Tebow starting 14th. Chase Small starting 15th. Gareth McAllister starting 16th. Norman King starting 17th. Varan Patel 18th on the grid. Dustin Oberlo starting 19th. Michael Fairchild starting 20th. Xavier Zanave starting 21st. Anthony Asianati starting 22nd. Matt Foster 23rd. Gustavo Gravina, starting 24th, I believe, in his debut in the league as well. And then you've got Bruno Fajeda starting 25th to round it out. 25 drivers making their way out here in Interlagos. As we get ready to send them out for the very first time, the lights will soon come on, and away we go for the opening lap here at the League Zero Formula Series. They're going to immediately push wide into turn one, and we might see a couple of hints of some four-wide action here. 3 wide into turn one. Josh Green leads the charge, but here comes Soto, the number 50 machine. Danny Beauchamp also in the mix. Almost gets tagged, but I believe that's Raymond Aguilar. No, that's going to be Brandon Dewan. At back, we've got crashes going on already. Gareth McAllister, Gustavo, all involved early on. Already carnage here, just like that. There goes Raymond Aguilar. He gets pitched off. Danilo Sparapani, he's pointing it the wrong way. I believe Daniel Beauchamp was involved in that as well, so he will be retired early. Let's take a look and see what happened, as that took out a whole lot of drivers early on here. We're watching Beauchamp to see what happens here in the mix, and he just gets absolutely murdered from behind, and that will stack the field up. There's cars strewn everywhere, but early on we've got problems for our drivers. Josh Green still out front. He's about a half second ahead of Russell Soto. Brandon Dewan starting currently third on track. But my, oh my, how many drivers were taken out in that? As it looks like Daniel Beauchamp, Raymond Aguilar, Gustavo Gravina all in pit road. We know Bruno Ferreira and Dustin Oberlo were also involved. Going to be interesting to see if they can limp it around. Thank you as always to our fans from across the world tuning here tonight, supporting their favorite drivers. We've got Murillo Stocco, Kai Demarest, Michael Colson, Faith Dobbins, Patrick Lytle, Abby Baumtrog, all tuning here today, supporting their drivers. Thank you all so much to our fans across the world. Now again, this is the feature event, 26 laps here at Interlagos, and then we're going to have a short 10-minute warm-up before we send our drivers out for the Mad Dash Sprint race. As everybody trying to get in a groove here, not wanting to make any mistakes. Brad Triton seems to be involved in an incident as well. And John Kasai comes down pit road. We're going to take a look at Triton's number 26 machine and see what happens to him. Oh, there was contact just ahead of him. And Triton nowhere to go. Uses the runoff here. Able to keep it pointing in the right direction, so no harm, no foul. As we go back up front to Brandon Dewan, currently third on track. Antonio Bianchi, our current hard charger, in the number 17 machine. He's being chased by Peter Rettinger and Jared Ziegler as well. I take it back. It's Anthony Asianati in the number 23 machine, who is up 10 spots. Currently running 12th on the circuit here today after starting 22nd. Got a lot of drivers coming into pit lane. John Kasai, Dustin Oberlo, Bruno Ferreira all come down pit road to get some repairs done. Try to get back out there, salvage some points here today. My, oh my, who would have expected such a rough go for so many fast drivers early on? as now Matt Foster has an incident. It's going to be, I believe, a few driver. Foster, Asianati, Tebow, all involved. We're going to take a quick look at that one, as it is carnage here at Interlagos. Oh! Ah, what a spectacular crash. So that's Ryan Tebow and Matt Foster both involved in that one, but a hard hit for both drivers. Let's take a quick more look at that, because that might be the crash of the race right there. So I'm not sure if maybe they didn't realize where they were, or Foster felt like he got pinched down. It looked like he was coming into pit road. They went back out on track in an absolutely spectacular crash here at the start-finish line straight. Drivers blowing these machines apart. There's hardware everywhere as Asianati having problems again, trying to hold on to it. He will have to take a tow back to pit road. Now for this League Zero Formula 3 event, if these drivers take a tow back to pit lane, they are considered retired for this event. So they will have to watch their friends make their way around before coming back out at the sprint race for a chance of redemption. As you're watching Josh Green, he's getting chased by Soto. Soto about 4/10 off the back bumper of that number 22. So let's see how long can Green hold on to it, as there's a lot of fast drivers. Soto pushes wide there. He will take the off track. Doesn't look like he's going to get any form of slowdown. And Brandon Dewan also trying to get in the mix here in that number 96 machine. Our top three really stretching their legs over. Fourth place, Antonio Bianchi. Bianchi in that number 17 machine, currently running fourth on track. As we pan the camera back, here's the massive battle for the top five. It's Jared Ziegler, Peter Renger, Nick Peterson, Chase Small, and Hunter Graves all in the mix here. Everybody trying their best to find some moves. All of these drivers are so similar on pace and ability. Lends itself to some great racing all across the track. But John Kasai, he's involved in another incident in that number 3 machine. Let's see what happened to cause him go careening. May have just been a single car incident out of Kasai. As yes, it's going to be lighting up those rear tires and sending him careening around. But thankfully no damage on the front of that number 3 machine, so he'll be able to keep things going. Now a little bit of a talking point here today as we wrap up this season, or get ready to wrap up this season. Russell Soto currently in second. He has to outscore Aguilar by 18 points over tonight to clinch the title. And he may be in a good position to do that, as Aguilar had to come back down pit road and take a tow on lap 1. So Soto should be in a great position, but we never know how things are going to go, as it is very common to see bobbles get made towards the end of one of these events, as drivers face attrition as well as a tough track here at Interlagos. It does not take but one mistake to have your night ruined. We've got Eric Green here. He's cheering on Josh Green. I'm going to go on a wild limb here and say family members. As we watch Russell Soto try and chase down Green. But again, Soto in contention for the championship here today. So I don't think we're going to see that number 50 machine make any gutsy moves. He's in a great spot to possibly wrap up a championship if he can just keep that in his head and maybe not worry so much about what the race is doing, as he gets very close to the back bumper of Josh Green. We're going to go a little bit further back in the field. Brad Triton, number 26 machine, he's putting the pressure on Norman King, the 28, as they go side by side across the start finish into turn 1. Looks like Triton will pick up the spot without too much worries there. And here comes Sparapani. He's in the mix as well. Now Triton and Sparapani were involved in some of that carnage we saw at the beginning of this feature event, but able to come back out and capitalize. All these drivers out here trying to score both their individual points as well as their team points. So just great racing all across the track. We're going to go a little bit further up in the field as you've got a lot going on. Hunter Graves, Peter Redinger, Varun Patel all in the mix here. Redinger in that all-black 44 machine, always easy to spot out on circuit. Redinger is about 3/10 off of Graves and the number 37. Trying to pick up some spots when able. Go back up front. Antonio Bianchi is now going to have company from Jared Ziegler. This will be the battle for fourth. Bianchi in the number 17 machine. He's up 8 spots. Ziegler in the 57 is up 5 spots. As that last time by, let's see what it updates here as they dive into turn 1. Bianchi with a 129.76, Ziegler with a 129.67. So Ziegler picking up a 10th here, a 10th there to try and reel in Bianchi. And up front, we've also got a battle for the lead as they go side by side. Green and Soto putting on a show for our fans at home. Green still holding on to lead. Soto running just off that gearbox of the 22 machine. Now I'm curious to see what Soto is going to do here as he is in championship contention. He does want another win, but I would imagine that championship goal has got to be more important for both Soto as well as all the camp and crew out of the number 50 paddock. These guys doing their best to put on a show, trying to get those cars to rotate however they can. So Green will continue leading here. His last time by, he's about a 10th and a half slower than Soto. But as these two drivers start battling, that may allow Brendan Dewan, currently third on track, number 96 machine, to interject himself into the party and maybe make up some positions if things continue going very dicey up front. But again, Green's here to pick up some wins. Soto's here to pick up a championship at this late in the season, as Aguilar, the other points contender, had to go back to pit road early on in that opening lap of carnage. Bruno Ferreira, he leaves pits after 6-7 minutes in his stall, trying to get back out there and race. And that's the fun part about here at the League Zero Formula 3 Series. Free to enter, a lot of fun, and very talented drivers from across the world. We've got current open wheel experts out here racing, and we've got newcomers to the sim as well, trying to get into it and just want to race in a fun, safe, and broadcasted environment. And that's what it's all about. Good racing, good friends, and good times. As week in and week out, these guys put on spectacular shows throughout the season. Because again, this is the second to final round of the season. Last week at Red Bull Ring, we had Aguilar pick up a win in the feature race. Soto picked up a win in the sprint race. Today we're going to see who may lock up a championship at Interlagos. And if it's not decided, we will figure it out next week at Bathurst Mount Panorama Circuit for the season finale. And as always, that'll be broadcasted live for our viewers at home as we watch Soto look for a way around Green as they go side by side into turn 1. Green on the inside, Soto now on the inside as they swap back and forth. Both drivers trying to leave each other just a little bit of room. Green's going to hold on to it as they continue the side-by-side action. Who will have it in the next corner at the end of this brief straightaway? Green is in the preferred spot on that inside line. But Soto may carry a little bit of momentum here as now Soto's going to go to the inside line. Going back and forth, a spectacular show. Green still holding on to it, but man, these guys are racing so extremely close. As you go on board with Soto, taking a peek at that gearbox of that number 22, Josh Green. Both drivers so extremely quick, so extremely consistent. It is very rare you see either of these drivers make any big mistakes. And both drivers are very familiar of what it's like to race with a bit of pressure. So nobody here is going to make any bobbles at this current rate. Now let's see what happens later on and maybe how the pit cycle comes into play. The because in this feature event, it is a one pit stop strategy, as Brandon Dewan getting closer and closer in that number 96 machine to your two current leaders, Green and Soto. He's now about 1.5 seconds back. He was as far back as 3 seconds earlier on in the run here. As up front, Green and Soto, still more side-by-side action, putting on a great showing. You've also got a battle for fourth developing. Jared Ziegler has made his way around Antonio Bianchi, but not by much as they are going wing to wing. Bianchi trying to hold off and catch back up to the Oval Pro Jared Ziegler. Oh, we got a big incident developed. Oh, there's body parts strewn everywhere. Fairchild and King got into each other somehow. Let's see what happened here. Oh, just wheel-to-wheel contact and violently getting spit to the inside wall. Gareth McAllister will pick up 2 spots the easy way, just able to survive in that number 25 machine. Always great seeing the world-famous Aussie make his way out on circuit, as he is sporting a new livery. He is racing for Team Goon Squad, as well as Danny Beauchamp for his first debut here. So good to see the new team formed up late in the season. As we go back in and check in on Jared Ziegler, Antonio Bianchi battling hard for fourth. Nick Peterson, number 24 machine, is watching these two drivers with great interest, seeing if they possibly force themselves into a mistake, and could easily be a way to pick up some positions here. Graves and Patel also going back and forth. This is the battle just inside the top 10. It's the battle for 9th. And this position is so extremely important because for our sprint race here today, it is a top 10 inverted grid. So if you can finish 8th or 9th in the feature, granted, might not be the points you're looking for, but you will have the luxury of starting up front in that sprint race and possibly avoid some of the carnage behind. Gustavo Gravina, Xavier Zanave, Dustin Oberlo, Norman King all come down pit road. We're going to pan the camera back up front of the battle for the lead. Josh Green, Russell Soto running 1 and 2. But keep an eye on Brendan Dewan, that number 96 machine, as he is caught up very quickly. Now only 1.2 seconds back from your race leaders. As we get ready to approach the halfway mark of the day, this is when the pit cycle will open up for our drivers. They will come in, take just enough fuel to make it to the end before going right back out there. It is extremely rare you see any of these competitors take tires in a race. The only time you'll see that is maybe if they have a little bit of damage and possibly a little bit of flat spots if they were involved in a spin of some sort. Your race leaders, Green and Soto, once again stretching their legs over Dewan. He's now about 2 seconds off the pace once more. As we've got a whole host of drivers that had to retire early here. Out of 25 drivers that started, we only have 13 still on the lead lap, as we have lost a lot of body work all across the circuit here at Interlagos. Again, I'm very curious to see how much pressure we're actually going to see Soto put on the race leader Green. But these guys have got to get the pace going, because Brent's on the number 96 machine. He's not worried about any of it. He wants to get up there, score another win here, and try and get on that top spot as they make their way down the start-finish line. Brent Dewan still about 1.9 seconds back from Soto. As your race leader, Green, clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 128.37. Antonio Bianchi, the 17. He'll be one of the first drivers to start the pit cycle here today, coming in on lap 13. Now Green and Soto running almost identical lap times that last time by. Green with a 128.37, Soto with a 128.42. Historically, this is when you see the drivers really pick up the pace. The tires are good and hot, as grippy as they're going to be for this event. And the fuel level starts getting a little bit lower, and that allows these guys to put off some record-breaking times. As right now, this is the closest battle we have on track until we go back to that battle for ninth. Brad Triton, he's about 6/10 off of Varun Patel's number 99 machine, but Patel, he's up 10 spots here today, working his way into 8th. Mostly on talent, but a little bit of luck falling his way, as we've seen so many drivers get pitched off the circuit and have big issues. Jared Ziegler, he's about to have pressure from Nick Peterson's number 24 machine. Peterson less than 3/10 off now. Ziegler running 4th, Peterson running 5th. As let's see when Peterson may make a move. No, he's going to get it the easy way. Jared Ziegler comes down pit road for a green flag stop. That will allow Peterson, number 24 machine, to take over 4th place, relatively uncontested. And now it'll be Jared Ziegler, Brad Triton doing their pit cycles after Antonio Bianchi was one of the first drivers to come in and out. So I believe that'll put Bianchi back inside the top 10, looking good for a good starting position in the sprint race just after today's feature event. Up front, Josh Green still leading the charge. He's about 9/10 ahead of Soto and almost about 2.8 seconds ahead of Brennan Dewan's number 96 machine. But all drivers looking good for a podium. Russell Soto still staying within striking distance, about 3/4 of a second off your race leader, Josh Green. Soto with SB Grand Prix. He's in a great spot here to possibly clinch this championship. But he's got to know, and he's got to be a little bit apprehensive of the sprint race to follow, as that's where we see all sorts of carnage. As drivers will do anything they can to make their way towards the front in that shorter format event. Now again, for this main event, we're running 26 laps for the sprint race. Only 13 laps combined with that inverted grid lends itself to all sorts of excitement. As it appears, the majority of the field has spread out here besides up front, as you watch Soto send that back in, wiggling around, able to hold on to it without any big worries or issues. And for those that are maybe new to iRacing, don't have iRacing, or just here to support their friends, let me tell you from a first-hand perspective, these cars in the sim, an absolute blast and joy to drive. Not super fast as far as, high horsepower machines go, but very grippy, a lot of downforce, and an absolute blast to drive around. As Green once again clicks off the fastest lap of the race with a 128.36. Soto clicks off a 128.42 that last time by. So the pace is getting very much faster as the fuel loads are starting to drop for these drivers. When are they going to come in for that scheduled stop, as they've only got about 10 laps left in this feature event? As right now it's Green, Soto, Dwan, Peterson, and Small rounding out our top 5 here for the opening race. Soto staying within 6 to 7 tenths for the duration of this lap. We've got Livia Hernandez, she's cheering on Dan. I believe that's going to be Sparapani she's cheering on. Sparapani currently running 13th on this circuit in the number 9 machine. He was involved in a little bit of catastrophe early on in the event, but able to capitalize, get back out there, and try and salvage the night, as he is about 3.8 seconds behind. Brad Triton will be his next competition. Other notable battles up on track. Hunter Graves running 11th. He's being chased by Brad Triton. Both drivers came in around that lap to 12 to 13 mark, as now Triton getting a little bit closer to the back bumper of that 37. Chase Small in the number 5 machine, who is running 5th. He'll come down pit road, as now our top 4 drivers have yet to box here today. Going to be very interesting to see when Green, Soto, Dewan, Peterson, and Redinger decide to come down pit row. Varun Patel, he takes up 6th spot. Jared Ziegler coming out to 7th. Antonio Bianchi moves up to 8th. Now, Ziegler and Bianchi have already taken their pit cycles here today. They are about 37, 38 seconds behind your race leader, Josh Green. With an average pit stop taking about 26 seconds, they should come out about 12 seconds behind your race leader. As we have another incident showing up on track, Xavier Zanave has an incident. Let's take a quick look, see what happened to him. Xavier in that number 12 machine, he was up 7 spots up into 14th. And just cooks it on the brakes, sends it careening around. Thankfully, no damage on that Formula 3 machine. Gets pointed back out in the right direction. As Green, Soto opt to stay out a little while longer. Brandon Dewan comes down pit road. Let's see if Peterson, Redinger, and Patel do the same. Now again, there is one required stop. They will not have the fuel to make it till the very end here at Interlagos. So I would imagine this pit cycle's got to be coming up soon for Green and Soto, unless they're both playing fuel games with each other. I don't believe it's mathematically possible for these drivers to do it on no stops for this feature event. And with less than 8 laps left to go, they've got a very comfortable lead of about 20 seconds over Peterson, running in 3rd in that number 24 machine. Still waiting to see when Green and Soto are going to come down pit road. The entirety of the field fairly stretched out. Most drivers having about 1 to 3 seconds between their closest competition, but not Green and Soto, who are staying glued to each other less than a second apart for the duration of this event. Out here hot lapping together, and oh no, Soto spins it! He keeps it out of the wall in turn 1, but a huge upset for the number 50 machine, who came in just a little so slightly hot, as now he will rejoin the circuit, try to get the grass off those slick tires and get back out there. That will allow Green to command about a 9.5 second lead over Soto. Soto just saw his championship hopes almost go up in flames here, as he had quite the white knuckle ride. Peter Redinger, their 44 machine, he comes down pit road. Antonio Bianchi, he's starting to catch back up to Jared Ziegler. As this will be the battle for 6th out on track. Jared Ziegler came in a lap 13. Bianchi came in a lap 12. They are 5 seconds ahead of Chase Small, the number 5 machine. He came in a lap 16 for a late stop. So now your top 3 of Green, Soto, and Peterson, some of the few drivers that are stretching it out here on fuel. Varun Patel, Gareth McAllister have yet to come in as well. Norman King completes his pit cycle, gets back out on track as Bruno Fajeda comes in. And your race leader, Josh Green, will come down pit road for his one and only stop with 6 laps left to go in this main event, or dare I say feature event of the League Zero Formula 3 Series. Once again, thank you to our fans from across the world that like the video, subscribe to the channel every week. It helps us out, it helps the drivers out, and it helps the league out, as we are pleased to announce that we will be once again covering all the action here at League Zero next season live at the Team Goon Squad broadcasting channel, and we could not have done that without our fans at home. So thank you all so much for allowing us to do this. It's a lot of fun out here every week as Soto, Peterson, and Patel come down pit road and get back out on track. Soto will rejoin the circuit in 3rd. We're going to pan the camera back to Soto, the number 50 machine again. He's got the most to lose here tonight as far as championships go. And he will be about 13 seconds back from Brandon Dewan. Dewan having a great night and having a very clean night in that number 96 machine, as now he is up on the 2nd spot of the podium. And he's got about a 13-second advantage over Russell Soto here. Other battles out on track. Hunter Graves getting pressured by, no, that was Graves putting the pressure on Varun Patel, picks up a spot. So now you got Patel, number 99 machine, Graves in the 37. But Graves will get by nice and easy. A little bit of lockup there, holds on to it as Patel looks for a way around in that Legos back number 99 machine. Graves pushes wide. That may allow Patel to get a run here. The draft is so important, as it looked like Patel was going to take a look at the inside line, thinks better of it, gets back in formation, trying to carry that draft. As who was that? That was Sparapani. Goes for a ride. Gets it pointed the right direction, gets back out on track, but Sparapani having a rough go of it. He's down 6 spots from where he initially started. As Patel and Graves still putting on a show. This is the very heated battle for 10th. Such an important spot, because if you finish 10th, you will be starting up front for the sprint race here today. And the further away these drivers can get away from any sort of carnage, the better and easier their night may be. As we're watching Hunter Graves, now he's going to try and get around Patel on the inside line. They go side by side once more. Graves in the baby blue 37, Patel in the Legos back number 99, still side by side once more in such a heated battle for 10th. These guys are driving hard, but this is where you're going to see the consistency really come into play for the drivers. Who can make the least amount of mistakes and hold on to it the best, as you're on board with Hunter Graves in the 37 machine. Now Graves started 11th and is currently running 11th. Using every bit of track he can. Now I believe that's going to be lap traffic ahead of Patel and Graves. Trying to see who that may be. That may be Kasai, the number 3 machine. No, I think it's going to be Oberlo in the 42 going into turn 1. Yes, it is. That's Dustin Oberlo, the 42. He's up 2 spots from where he started, as Gareth McAllister comes down pit road. So now Patel and Graves are going to have lap traffic to contend with, and they are still running nose to tail. Here comes Graves with another look up the inside. Not sure if he's going to have the run here, as I thought he was going to bail out of it, but no, he's going to stick it in there and see what happens. As it looked like Patel left the door open there. Graves trying everything he can to get through. Able to get around traffic nice and clean. I believe that was Oberlo maybe pulling out of the way of this heated battle. And oh no, Patel has problems with a major blink out of that number 99 machine. We got Jonah Oberlo tuning in, cheering on their family member. Dustin currently 17th on track in the number 42, still up 2 spots from where he started tonight. And after all the carnage we saw in the opening laps of this feature event, you've got to be happy with any performance you can have as long as you're still out on track rolling. That is a pretty good day at the racetrack. As I've got to say, I'm very excited. After this feature event, we'll have a brief podium ceremony with our top 3 drivers, another short warm-up session, and then we're going to send them back out for the final time tonight of the League Zero sprint race, where things get absolutely out of hand. Looks like Graves starting to extend his gap over Patel just ever so slightly, but just like that, Patel catches back up within 0.3 of a second of the number 9 machine, or the number 37 machine of Hunter Graves. Now both these guys have got to be feeling pretty good as they are both within the top 10 now, so not having to really fight each other tooth and nail as much to get inside that sweet transfer spot that top 10 inverted grid will have for the sprint race. Other battles on track. Nick Peterson currently running 4th, and the number 24 machine is feeling the pressure from Jared Ziegler in the 57. Peterson's up 3 spots. Ziegler is up 5 spots so far here today. And a less than a quarter of a second separates these 2 drivers for that battle for 4th. Ziegler with a huge run, looking for a way around Peterson. Peterson's going to ride defensively on that inside line, forcing Ziegler to take the long way around here. As Patel and Graves still battling back and forth. We need more cameras up here in the booth as there's great racing all across the track. You've got Peterson and Ziegler battling for 4th, and Patel and Graves fighting hard for 9th. All these drivers doing a fantastic job. I believe it is still 12 drivers on the lead lap, 11 drivers on the lead lap. As we're going to go back up front to Josh Green. He just set the fastest lap of the race once more, a 1:28.32. Just a couple of short laps left before he can lock up a win here today, as he's about 5 seconds ahead of Brennan Dewan. Russell Soto still running 3rd, and Jared Ziegler has moved up to 4th, if not for a brief moment, as he will battle once more with Nick Peterson. Ziegler has the drive in the preferred line here, so let's see if Peterson's going to answer in his number 24 machine, trying to look for a way through that 57. So now Jared Ziegler is up 6 spots, but here comes Peterson. We've seen this work out well for other drivers on that inside line, but who's going to have the momentum? Peterson sticks it in there, but I think Ziegler is going to have just a little bit more momentum out of the corner, and he will hold on to it for a little while longer. Great racing across the circuit. That's also allowing Antonio Bianchi, the 17 machine, just off the left side of your screen. He is currently 6th on track and starting to catch up to these 2 drivers of Ziegler and Peterson, who are battling so extremely hard. And just like that, it's a 3-car battle for 4th. It's Ziegler, Peterson, and Bianchi all in the mix here. And not a lot of laps left to make anything happen. White flag flies for Josh Green here at Interlagos. Brandon Dewan still running 2nd, Russell Soto 3rd. As we were watching a massive battle for 4th, who's going to be able to bring home some better finishing results, as all these guys are battling extremely hard, trying to represent themselves, their sponsors, and their teams to the best light possible. As we watch this 3-car battle cross the line for the final time here tonight, they've got one more lap to try and make any big moves, as Bianchi just clicked off his fastest lap of the race, a 1:29.08. And it looks like he's in striking distance of Nick Peterson, less than 0.2 off the back bumper of that number 24 machine. Let's see if Bianchi can pick up a spot and work his way inside the top 5 here. Bianchi looking for a way through. He's got to be happy. Currently running 6th on track. He said he wasn't super comfortable in practice here today, but as the race went on in this feature event, he's been getting faster and faster as Peterson's going to defend that inside line the best he can. Josh Green gets ready to complete the final quarter of the racetrack here at Interlagos, looking to be in a great position to win. As you're watching quite the heated battle now for 5th, Bianchi looking for any way through here he can. That number 17 machine as they go side by side. The checker flag flies for Josh Green. Brandon Duwan and Russell Soto will be our top 3 as we're watching a massive battle for 5th here on circuit. Will Bianchi be able to pull something off here with the draft as they're going to come out on the straightaway side by side? Who's it going to be for that 5th place spot? It looks like it's going to be Bianchi just ever so slightly for that 5th place. They make contact, and they yard sail it at the start-finish line, absolutely careening across each other. Bianchi goes for a ride of his life. As we're going to watch that replay and then try and get our top 3 drivers up here into victory lane. As we're watching the replay between Nick Peterson and Antonio Bianchi, the battle for 5th as they make contact. And this is where you're going to see Bianchi absolutely get exploded, launched up into the safety fence, careens around, and then still manages to flip 3 or 4 more times over Nick Peterson. What a wild night. What a wild night. We're going to try and get our top 3 drivers up here into victory lane for their podium interviews. But what a spectacular feature event here today. We've got all 3 of our drivers up in the waiting room. Up first, we've got Russell Soto in that number 50 machine. Russell, it seemed like it was a roller coaster of a night for everybody, but able to salvage some points. That may be the most important thing for you. But what's going through your head after that feature event?
Absolutely, James. In the beginning stint of that feature race, I was thinking, man, this is a title battle. I got to be thinking about my championship in terms of the points. But then I was so close to the lead, and the natural racer in me was like, man, you got to go for this win. You know, it was great battling with Josh. Josh and I, you know, we go way back. We are karting teammates back in the day. And unfortunately, we never got to race each other. So honestly, it's an honor to be racing against, you know, someone I know who is, you know, very talented and is racing in the Indy Pro 2000 series. Honestly, it was a great race. And unfortunately, made a mistake there on turn 1, just a little bit too far on the brakes, but otherwise, you know, it was good. We got the fastest lap, so I'm happy with that, James.
Now, Russell, before I let you go, what's the plan to survive this sprint race as the points are so close? Nobody, I mean, yourself, Aguilar, neither one can afford a big mistake here, so is there any strategy in the opening lap to try and keep it clean?
Absolutely. Just gonna, I know I'm starting ahead of Aguilar for the sprint race, so I'm just going to try to keep it clean. Don't take too many risks and just bring those points home for the championship. Hopefully clinch it at the end of this round.
Awesome, Soto. Thank you as always for your time, man. We'll let you get back out there and get warmed up, but hope to see you do well in this sprint race.
Thank you, James. See you.
Up next, we've got Brandon Dewan, the pod of the number 96 machine, bringing home a 2nd. Brandon, I mean, you were super consistent all the entire feature event. Do you think that was what helped you get up on the podium here, or what was your expectations coming into it?
Yeah, I think I mean from the start it was looking like a P3 if I kept it together. So I figured, you know, just keep it on the track, keep it pointed forward. Unfortunately, Russell spun, which gave me a free position, which is great. But yeah, no, I mean, I knew I didn't really have the pace to catch the 2 of them this week. I was pushing at the start, but I just couldn't close that gap down. I just eventually lost touch with them.
Well, so far a great start to tonight at least. Now, I know the sprint race is going to be a little bit hectic. Do you think that feature event is kind of indicative of how the sprint race is going to go, or what is your expectations for the carnage in this coming race?
Hopefully there's not a punt lap 1 again. I saw that in my peripheral and I was like, oh god. But yeah, hopefully it stays clean, but you know, as history has shown, the sprint can get pretty messy sometimes.
Well, Brandon, great run out there. We know you had family and friends from across the world cheering you on here in the broadcast, so we're going to let you go get some seat time for this sprint race, but we wish you the best of luck, my friend.
All right, thanks.
And up next, the winner of the feature event, Josh Green, number 22, put it on the top spot. Josh, it seemed like there's a little bit of hectic action going on in the opening laps. What was it looking like from your rearview mirror in that first few corners?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. Definitely saw some cars flying, but no, I mean, it was just about getting a nice controlled start, which I didn't. Sorry, someone's talking. Anyway, yeah, which I really struggled with because I don't have like the fancy clutch pedal, the hand clutch pedal. Turning chat off. There we go. Yeah, I don't have the fancy hand clutch pedal, which made it a struggle, but Russell and I got pretty similar starts, and I was able to defend into one. Whoever it was came around my outside, but I was able to just sort of like break a bit later and get it done. So from there on, it was just Russell, keeping Russell behind.
Well,
He was...
Well,
What?
go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, sorry.
I say, Josh, I know you got a lot going on in your ears. You're starting 10th for the sprint race with the inverted grid. Is there any strategy here with these standing starts to just survive the first few laps, or what is the game plan out of you and the number 22 crew to get through this thing?
Eyes always forward. I mean, it's always better to be fighting the person ahead of you than fighting the person behind you. So just keep trying to move forward. I know we have the pace to get to the front, so it'll be really just a battle of who gets to the front first between me and Russell.
Excellent. Well, Josh, thank you as always for your time. We'll let you go get a few more laps in before the sprint race, but hope to see you do well. Congratulations being up here in the top spot after today's feature event.
Thank you.
And that was Josh Green bringing home the win. He doesn't get to race here often, but when he does, boy, is he quick. As we've got about 5 minutes left in this warm-up session. So what you're seeing right now on your screen is a last-ditch opportunity for these drivers to come out, get some seat time, get a feel for how the track is developing, and maybe shake out the pre-race jitters, as it is going to be all sorts of exciting. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen for this one, as things can get mighty hectic in this sprint race. Not quite sure what we're going to see because, again, it's the top 10 drivers starting in reverse. Well, that was the wrong button. So Josh Green, who started on, or finished on the very top spot here today, he will be starting 10th on the grid. So I'm not sure what that's going to show, but things are going to get mighty, mighty exciting. As right now we're watching this warm-up, Raymond Aguilar, he's out there hot lapping, clicks off a 130.02. Now a lot of other drivers going out. You've got Daniel Beauchamp, Peter Rettinger, Ryan Tebow, they're out on track. Gustavo Gravina, he's sitting in the pits, hanging out in the number 81 machine. But I'm curious. Let me know in the YouTube chat how many drivers are going to get collected in the opening lap here at the sprint race at the League Zero Formula 3 Series. As if you thought the feature event was exciting, the sprint is going to be all sorts of exciting. I'm going to take a quick break, grab some water, but don't go anywhere. We're going to let the engines keep humming, and we'll be right back with more action. And we are back after watching one of our sponsor drivers, Daniel Beauchamp, make a few hot laps here at Interlagos. Beauchamp misses his first time debut at the League Zero Formula Series. As we got an update from Antonio Bianchi in race control, Soto will need to score 1 point over Aguilar to finish this event here today on top and secure the championship. So thank you to our race control guys getting us a quick update on that one. We greatly appreciate all the guys here at League Zero that help put on these events every week and have a whole lot of fun, spectacular racing. So now to keep an eye on tonight, you really got to keep an eye on Soto as well as Aguilar. Soto, I believe, will be starting, 7th on the grid for this one. Aguilar will be somewhere towards the back after having a very rough go in the feature event, having to take a tow and retire early on. As we've only got about a minute left here in the warm-up before the Mad Dash sprint race. Again, it's going to be 13 laps, no pit stops. Everybody absolutely hanging it out here today. One of my favorite things to watch is early in the season, we had a couple of red flag incidents where they actually had to roll the safety car here at the League Zero Formula Series. So that should give you some indication of how wild things can get. As we've got 30 seconds left before we get ready to send them out for the grid for the final time here tonight. I am excited. I hope you guys at home are as well. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. These drivers, go back and watch the broadcast if they don't already have it pulled up on a different screen. So they absolutely notice the drivers that are cheering them on. Or the fans cheering on the drivers, I should say. As we're going to wrap up the warm-up session, get our drivers to shake out the nerves, and then send them to the grid for the very final time here at Interlagos. As let's get ready to run it through tonight's grid. Starting up front, Danilo Sparapani, number 9 machine. Hunter Graves starting 2nd. Varun Patel starting 3rd. Brad Triton starting 4th. Chase Small 5th in the grid. Nick Peterson starting 6th. Jared Ziegler starting 7th. Russell Soto starting 8th. Brandon Dewan starting 9th. Josh Green starting 10th. Antonio Bianchi will be 11th on the grid. Gareth McAllister starting 12th. Then you've got Peter Rettinger starting 13th. Xavier Zanabe starting 14th. John Kasai starting 15th. Norman King starting 16th. Dustin Oberlo starting 17th. Bruno Fajeda starting 18th. Gustavo Gravina starting 19th. Michael Fairchild starting 20th. Anthony Asianati starting 21st. Matt Foster 22nd. Ryan Tebow 23rd. But we're going to go green lights, and away we go. As already there's smoke and destruction here as we're going to come piling into turn 1. Who's going to come out on top? Michael Fairchild, Aguilar. No, Aguilar's involved in an incident early on. Aguilar in the 83 is completely wadded up. That may be the championship here today. We're going to take a look at this replay and see just what happened. As Aguilar may have just gotten destroyed. And yes, a little bit of netcode and a long way around, and that's going to collect several drivers. Absolute carnage. That will possibly be the championship. Brad Triton currently running up front. Russell Soto currently 7th on track. If he can just complete the opening lap and score a single point here today in Interlagos, he will wrap up the championship. As we watch the number 50 machine try and cut through traffic as he battles with Antonio Bianchi. And no, Soto goes for a ride. Soto gets hit hard. Does he have damage on that number 50 machine? Absolute carnage. Soto involved in damage. Aguilar has returned to pit road early on. Soto will try and limp it around. He's got to score in the top 8 here to score any points and lock up that championship as he rapidly falls back the leaderboard. Brad Triton out front, the number 26 machine. He's leading Jared Ziegler. Hunter Graves third. No, it's going to be Green and Graves battling back and forth for third. As Graves gets pushed wide, Sparapani and Green will cut through here. Sparapani driving the wheels off that number 9 machine as he is now in podium contention and already about 8/10 ahead of Hunter Graves, who's got a massive pack of drivers behind him with Nick Peterson. And who's going to be able to hold on to it here as they were going 3-wide, wheel to wheel, almost a little bit of contact as Bianchi locks up the brakes to avoid getting to the back of Graves. Peterson takes over 4th. What an absolute bloodbath here at track. Danny Beauchamp involved in an incident as well. Let's see what happened to him on our League Zero instant replay. You're watching Beauchamp. I think he was missing his wing already. Yes, Beauchamp was missing a wing. And just hectic night here today as so many drivers had to have retired early. You've got Russell Soto making his way back out of pit road. Michael Fairchild, Danny Beauchamp, Matt Foster, Ryan Tebow, Raymond Aguilar, Anthony Asianati, Varun Patel, all having major problems here today. As Brad Triton's going to find a way to try and fend off Josh Green. Now, Green did win the last event as Sparapani pushes very wide there. He will get an off track. Hopefully no slowdown in that number 9 machine as now Green and Triton will battle for the lead side by side once more. Green trying to make it a back-to-back night here at Interlagos. Triton holding on to the best if he can. Sparapani still on 3rd. What an absolute wild night here. So Green will take over the lead once more after starting 10th on the grid. Brad Triton still holding on to 2nd. Sparapani 3rd. Peterson 4th. Bianchi rounds out our top 5. As it looks like Green setting a little bit of a distance over Triton and Sparapani. We're going to go back to Antonio Bianchi. He's trying to put the pressure on Peterson once more. These two drivers had a spectacular battle early on in the feature event as Bianchi clicks off the fastest lap of the race with a 129.3. And with these sprint races, there's no time to take it patient and try and wait for the perfect opportunity. You've only got 13 laps left to make something happen, or total to make something happen. As we've already clicked off 4 laps, as you can see, a lot of drivers having a rough go and get sent back to the pits early. As you're watching once more the battle between Nick Peterson and Antonio Bianchi. These guys with a spectacular show in the feature event. Back at it once more, and this time a little bit more aggression thrown at it, knowing that there's so few laps to make any moves and try and score some points. Where is Russell Soto? He is still 18th on track. He is very far behind, and he's looking like the championship may not get locked up here after all. As I know Soto was trying to get it secure before we go to Mount Panorama next week, which is going to be all sorts of exciting, especially if a championship is on the line here. As Peterson in that number 24 machine 4th on track, still trying to fend off Bianchi. Both these drivers have been running strong together. Up front, Green clicks off the fastest lap of the race with a 128.78. Now these drivers in the sim are allotted so many off tracks that they are allowed to use throughout the night. So you may see them taking advantage of that, trying to extend those track limits just ever so slightly as Beauchamp and Peterson go side by side with another fantastic show for our fans at home. That is great racing and great trust amongst your competitors. But what that's also going to do is slow things down, so they will be less likely to catch up to Sparapani, who's about 1.5 seconds ahead, and possibly allow Hunter Graves in the 37 machine to interject himself into this party for fourth. As just ahead of Beauchamp and Peterson, you can see Sparapani running third on track in that purple number 9 machine. And they will have the luxury and the advantage to run that draft with each other. Getting dangerously close to that pit entrance wall. We saw how that worked poorly for some drivers early on here today. As Green out front keeps getting faster and faster, a 1:28.64 that last time by, setting records into the sprint race. But I am very curious to see, are we going to see Peterson and Beauchamp keep battling back and forth, or are they going to link up and try and track down Sparapani and put themselves into the podium position? As they are gaining just a little bit of time over Sparapani, now about 1.2 seconds off the back of that number 9 machine. As Green out front, still clicking off high, 128. Triton is about a second off of your race leader. No, that Sparapani is about a second off the number 26 machine of Triton. So it looks like Sparapani finding some pace here with 6 laps left to go. Triton looks like Sparapani is getting closer and closer to that number 26 machine, so you might have a battle for second shaken up here in the sprint race. But if Triton and Sparapani spend too much time battling back and forth, that will allow Beauchamp and Peterson to get in the mix. As we've got Nada cheering on Sparapani, Fajeda and Gravina. As we're watching Brad Triton running second, your race leader Josh Green still setting hot laps out front, clicking off a 1:28.33, the newest fastest lap for the race. I'm expecting that strategy to keep up and keep moving forward. As here comes Sparapani getting closer and closer to Triton. Meanwhile, Beauchamp and Peterson running fourth and fifth. They're getting closer and closer to Sparapani and Triton as well. So you may soon see a 4-car battle for second place here today. As we are watching this unfold, you're still watching Sparapani in third. 0.6 off of Brad Triton. Antonio Bianchi and Nick Peterson, though, getting closer and closer to the number 9 machine of Sparapani. But not a lot of laps left to do it with. There are going to be about 4 laps left to go as Josh Green crosses the line with another fast lap of 128.58. But now these drivers can start picking up the draft from their competitors and start pulling each other closer together as everybody clicking off almost identical lap times that last time by. Peterson sets his fastest lap of the race with a 129.05. Sparapani looking for a podium here. He had mixed results in the feature event, but coming out back strong as he's getting a little bit closer to Triton time and time again. As it looks like we may start seeing these guys getting a little bit bunched up, because as soon as Triton and Sparapani start battling, that is when Bianchi and Peterson are going to throw theirself in the mix. And we know how aggressive these drivers are in the sprint race. Things can get exciting very, very quickly. As now Sparapani, he's going to have pressure from Bianchi after a slight bobble, allowing Bianchi to get within a half second of the Brazilian number 9 driver. That has allowed Triton to extend his gap to about 6 to 7 tenths here. Oh no! Bianchi goes wide, pushes off into the grass. He may have tagged the outside wall slightly. That's going to allow Nick Peterson to take over 4th place. Bianchi will get shuffled back to 5th. And that will also allow Sparapani a chance to breathe here. He's now 1.9 seconds ahead of Peterson and Bianchi. Green still clicking off fast laps of 128.18 his last time by. He's got open air and no worries in the world, extending his gap to about 6.5 seconds over 2nd place, Brad Triton. As we're waiting to see what's going to happen here, will Sparapani be able to catch up? Meanwhile, a little bit further back in the field, you've got Chase Small and John Kasai going back and forth. Small picking up that 7th place spot from Kasai. Kasai still up 7 spots from where he started in this sprint race. As Kasai still trying to get back up to Small and maybe put the pressure on that number 5 machine, pick up another position and get out of that bubble spot. The final points paying position is 8th place in this sprint race. And a season championship that is so extremely close, it's going to be tough for anybody to make a move. Russell Soto still driving around in 18th on the circuit. I think the points championship is far but decided here today. What an absolute wild night it's been from start to finish. As Small and Kasai still going back and forth. I believe Kasai is going to be on the inside line going into turn 1. Small seems to carry a little bit more momentum there, and Small will get the position, but he will go off in the grass. And here comes Jared Ziegler. He's going to throw himself in the mix as well, number 57 machine, and it's a 3-way battle for 6th. How is this going to work out? Kasai looking for any way through here, trying to figure out which driver is going to carry just a little bit more speed. It's Small, Ziegler, Kasai. Trying so hard not to make any contact, but they're wheel to wheel. Kasai's got to be careful here, because if Small and Ziegler come together like they do, Kasai is going to cruise through here as Chase Small, Jared Ziegler both get involved. Ziegler keeps it pointed the right direction. Chase Small will take a tow back to pit road. And John Kasai will comfortably move up to 7th here. Meanwhile, back up front, you've got Sparapani still about a half second back from Brad Triton. It never fails to disappoint. Plenty of good entertainment here at the League Zero Formula Series. as we only have but a couple of short laps remaining. It's Josh Green still out front, Triton second, Sparapani third, Peterson fourth, and Bianchi rounds out our top 5. As it looks like Triton has found some more pace. He's gained about a 1.2 second gap over third place Sparapani. As up front, Green has extended his lead to about 9 seconds over Brad Triton. And Triton has about 1.2 over Sparapani, but the white flag will fly for Josh Green as he makes his way onto the start-finish line straight. And the white flag will fly for Josh Green, Brad Triton, and Sparapani. As the next closest battle looks like it's going to be between John Kasai and Brandon Dewan, the number 3 of Kasai and the 96 of Dewan. We're both trying to eke out a few more points here today at Interlagos. What an absolutely spectacular evening it's been. A lot of fun calling this event and some great racing across the track. As here comes Brandon Dewan putting the pressure on John Kasai. Dewan on the low side here, Kasai on the high side going into the corner. Both drivers giving each other plenty of room, still side by side, but now Kasai will be set up for the right-hander. Can Brandon Dewan carry a little bit more momentum and try and pick up the spot? As they are still nose to tail, running extremely close here in this battle for 7th. As Josh Green, your race leader, makes his way on the start-finish line straight for the final time, he will pick up the 2nd win of the night, winning both the feature and the sprint race. Brad Triton will bring home a 2nd, and Danilo Sparapani will bring home a 3rd as we watch Brandon Dewan try and chase down John Kasai, doing everything he can to squeeze out that final spot. But it looks like Kasai is going to hold on to it here unless Dewan can really pull off a miracle draft. I don't think he can. And at the line, Brandon Dewan will bring home a 8th with John Kasai with a 7th. We're going to try and get our drivers up here into the waiting room for their final interview as we have the collective party at the end of turn 1 as drivers send it careening around in style and celebrating after a successful night of good, kind of clean racing. As we're waiting on Brad Triton and Danilo Sparapani to make their way up into the booth. We've got Josh Green, we got Brad Triton, so now we're just waiting on Sparapani, our 3rd place finisher. As, yes, here we go. Starting the party off, it's Danilo Sparapani bringing home a 3rd at number 9 machine. Danilo, how are you feeling tonight, my friend?
Well, much better in the 2nd race. The 1st race wasn't the best for me. I got involved in a little accident there, and I got like a little bit of a damage. So the 2nd one was pretty good. So yeah.
Now, Danilo, what was the plan to try and survive that sprint race? We saw so many good drivers sent back to their pits early on with all the carnage. Did you have a strategy starting that off, or was it just hold it wide and survive?
I did. If anybody wanted to overtake me, just go for it, baby. I'll wait. And it worked out.
Well, Danilo, great job bringing it home nice and clean up on the podium. Always a great time talking to you. Before we let you sign off and celebrate, who would you like to give a shout out or pay thanks to? Because I know there was a whole lot of people here in the broadcast cheering you on.
Yeah, we have our friends from Fundão Racing Team watching the race. My beautiful wife, Andre, my friends, Murilo, a few friends, really making a lot of noise today. So yeah.
Well, Danilo, great job, man. Hope to see you do well at the season finale next week at Bathurst, and congratulations again on your third-place finish.
Cool. Thanks.
That was Danilo Sparapani, the fast Brazilian, bringing home the third spot. Up next, we've got Brad Triton, the number 26 machine. Brad, it seemed like it was a day of survival for almost everybody, but able to bring home a second-place finish and have a nice, clean run, so you've got to be pretty happy, all things considered.
Yeah, after the first race, having a little bit of an incident there in the fourth corner, just having a nice, clean sprint race, getting around the outside, going into turn one on the sprint, and getting up into the lead. With Josh coming up, I know he's way faster than me. There's no reason to fight that. I knew if I was going to get second, I had to let him go. And then Danilo and I just kind of were trading hot laps back and forth, and it was a good finish there.
It was good, clean racing. Now, next week we go to Mount Panorama or Bathurst, depending where what part of the world you're from. What do you think's going to happen at the tricky mountain track?
Chaos. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. I locked up third place in the championship, and now I can just have fun.
Awesome, Brad. Congratulations tonight on bringing home a second. And more importantly, congratulations on getting the third place locked in. I know you've got to be absolutely ecstatic. Who would you like to give thanks to that's cheering you and that number 26 machine on this season?
I got to give thanks to my wife. Without her, I wouldn't be able to race. Thank you, Jenna. And thanks to Antonio for running a fantastic league.
Well, Brad, thank you for having us, man. Great job tonight, and we wish you the best of luck next week.
Thank you.
And then up next, the man of the hour, Josh Green, bringing home 2 in a row, winning both the feature and the sprint. Got to be feeling good, my friend.
Yeah, no, it was a really good race. It was a lot of fun.
Now, it seems like things really got shaken up. So many fast drivers and championship contenders got wadded up in the opening laps, and then you're out here just beating up on folks. Not really a championship contender, I think, having to run your real-life schedule in conjunction with your sim racing stuff. But, Josh, how does the real-life and sim racing kind of overlap if they do at all?
I mean, they all do, of course. There's a lot of just style and basics that really come from the sim that goes straight into the race car. And, you know, it's in the situations where we have these races where we start from 10th that I have a lot of experience just battling through fields and being comfortable running side by side, which I think is what helped me a lot in this race.
Now, I know you do a whole lot of driving, a little bit of coaching. Do you think that helps you come out, maybe not without a ton of practice, but immediately able to pick up the lines and the braking marks out here?
Yeah, for sure. And just a lot of experience in a lot of different cars. It means that you get to pick stuff up a bit quicker than everyone else.
Well, awesome. Josh, great job out here tonight, my friend, picking up 2 in a row. Before I let you sign off and celebrate with the rest of the hooligans here at the League Zero Formula 3 Series, who would you like to give a shout-out to? Friends, family, sponsors, the floor is all yours, my friend.
All to my parents for everything they do and basically paying for this sim and Session Guardian. Yeah.
Well, Josh, very well said. Congratulations. I guess the final question, even though we did the sign-off stuff, will you be showing up next week for Bathurst?
I plan on it.
Awesome, Josh. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Congratulations on 2 in a row tonight. And as always, thank you for your time, my friend.
Thank you.
And that was Josh Green and the number 22 machine winning 2 in a row here today. Having a fantastic night with Brad Triton picking up a second. Danilo Sparapani bringing home third. Now we know Triton has locked up third in points, but I believe the battle for the lead is still ongoing between Russell Soto and Raymond Aguilar, and it will be decided next week at Bathurst. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, League Zero Formula 3 Racing League, and thank you again to you guys from across the world. We've got Americans, Brazilians, all sorts of folks from all across the world. Thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting your favorite drivers, your favorite league, and your favorite broadcasts. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.